Hey there, you two. Welcome to another edition of the Ravens Nest. We are 6 days away from the Baltimore Ravens beating the absolute piss out of my dad's favorite team, the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this video is going to be about offense and defensive stat leaders, some breakout candidates who I think will kind of lead the Ravens in statistical categories this year. Before we get into the video, if you could please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment after you're done watching it. Maybe just leave me what your stat predictions are, how you see the season going. Let's get into it. So we're going to start on the offensive side of the ball this year with the rushing stats. So originally before this, I would have definitely picked J.K. Dobbins to lead the team in rushing, but unfortunately got injured. So, I mean, that kind of leaves us two options, really. We either got Lamar Jackson, who I am repping right now in this nice jersey here. This is actually purple. It looks a little darker on screen, but I'm going to actually have to go with Gus Edwards just because I think the Ravens are going to kind of take a little bit of the running ability or rushing necessity off Lamar's plate. I'm giving Gus Edwards 1,200-yard rush mark. That's kind of where I see him being. He's been around like 750. 5 yards a carry, so he's going to get more carries. I see him just, kind of staying on pace of what he's going to be doing or what he has done. Stemming off that, we got receiving yards. This is kind of a weird one. The Ravens obviously don't throw the ball a lot, so this is kind of tough to predict, but going along with my prediction of Lamar kind of taking a few less carries, maybe not rushing the ball as much or for as many yards, I should say. I'm going to go with Marquise Brown for receiving yards at 850 receiving yards. So we really got basically four main guys. Obviously, Marquise, we got Mark Andrews, and then we got the rookie Rashad Bateman, and then Sammy Watkins. Those are the four those are the guys who are going to lead the team in receiving yards and receptions. So I see Marquise kind of being the guy who gets opened up the most. Mark Andrews probably the guy they're still going to double. Sammy Watkins is kind of the bigger physical guy. I see Marquise Brown as the guy they can move around. Going off that, we got the receptions. I'm going to have to say I think Mark Andrews, I think even though he's the guy that's still probably double, I see him and Lamar just have some special connection. So I'm going to go 70 receptions. Yeah, I know this isn't a lot of receptions. Trust me. It is what it is, but 70 receptions, they'll probably have, 800 yards, something like that. Receiving touchdowns, though, I got Mark Andrews. He's the dude in the red zone. Maybe Rashad Bateman kind of takes some receptions away, but with the loss of Dobbins, they're probably going to have to throw the ball a little more than they would have liked to in the red zone. So I see Mark Andrews, 13 touchdowns receiving. And that leads me to rushing touchdowns, which I think Lamar Jackson will uptick in that. I'm saying he has 12 rushing touchdowns. I think he leads the team in rushing touchdowns. So a lot of that has to do with, like I said, Dobbins not being there. Maybe they load the box trying to stop Gus Edwards. Lamar, I think the past 2 years he's both had 7. So I just think it's one of those years I think he gets a couple cheap ones, maybe a couple 1-yarders, something like that. The play just kind of breaks down. He makes the play. That brings me Offensive Player of the Year or MVP, whatever you want to call it for the Ravens. It's Lamar. We could say whatever we want. Maybe J.K. Dobbins if he was on the team or was still healthy. But the Ravens go as 8 goes. The grade 8, Lamar Jackson. He's clearly going to be the most important offensive player. With the 17th game, I think he gets pretty close to 4,000 passing yards. I'm going to say he has like 800 rushing yards, but like I was talking about, he's going to be efficient. He's going to have, I think he's going to have a couple more rushing touchdowns this year. Flipping it over to the defensive side of the ball, we're going to go with tackles leader. If your inside backer's not leading your team in tackles, then something ain't right. As a former linebacker, it has to be how it is. Patrick Queen, one of the rising stars at the position in the NFL. Last year had around 100 and 105, 110, something like that, total tackles, not just solos. But I think this year he, with another game, so I'm saying like 130, 135, something like that, leads the team in tackles. If he doesn't, it's kind of a shame, or he gets hurt, one or the other. So I think he's an absolute dude. I think he is Defensive Player of the Year candidate, which you might find out I will say something about later. Moving on, though, we got sack leader. This is interesting, too. The Ravens never really had an elite pass rusher since Terrell Suggs left. And even at the end of that, it was still kind of by committee. This year, they brought Justin Houston in to get after the quarterback. I see him leading the team in sacks. I mean, he only has a couple until 100. Him and Calais are both in that same boat, but I see him getting 8. I don't see him playing a lot early downs by design. The Ravens have those edge shedders in Pernell McPhee and Jalen Ferguson, and they've talked about Adafe Owe, being an absolutely freak, physical, strong athlete setting the edge. So I don't know if he will be playing a lot of first downs, but that could benefit him and the Ravens later on. So I'm going to say he has 8. Calais Campbell have 6. I think Adafe Owe has like 6 too. A sneaky player in this category is going to be Patrick Queen. Devin White for the Bucs last year, they blitzed a lot. He had like 9 sacks. So I think him and Devin White and Patrick Queen are similar athletes. They're both freaks, explosive athletes. We'll see if the Ravens blitz Patrick Queen a lot, which I think they could. It could be very effective if they blitzed him and Malik Harrison, who I also think is a really good player. Moving on to the interceptions category, I mean, Marcus Peters is going to lead this team in interceptions. I think he had the most picks on the team when he came over halfway, had a couple pick sixes in 2019, had 4 more picks last year. Ravens didn't get a ton of picks, but they forced fumbles, but they didn't get a ton of picks last year. Marcus, I don't think he had a pick 6 last year, but he's a dude. He's a ball player. He's one of top 3 Ravens on the team right now. I just love the way he plays. Maybe not top 3, top 5. He's a dude. I love the way he plays, talking crap to people and everything. Physical player, ripping balls out. I think he gets a bad rap a little bit, but he plays like a Raven, and I love it. Forced fumbles, Marlon, fruit punch. He had 8 last year. I don't think he can replicate that, but maybe 5. I have 5 written down, so that wouldn't surprise me. A couple of the ones he got last year, they kind of bounced out of bounds, kind of bad luck. But if he can force 5, get 5, that'd be huge for the defense and for him as just a personal player. He got paid a ton of money, still wants to perform. Everyone loves him. He's our shutdown corner. He's potentially our best defensive player. Or no, he is our best defensive player overall at this point. But moving on to that, this year I think Patrick Queen is Defensive Player of the Year for the Ravens, or Defensive MVP, whatever you want to call it. He got caught. He got kind of lost in coverage a couple times last year, but I don't see that happening again. I think he's got it figured out. He knows how to play. He's in shape. He's explosive. He's fierce. He knows the defense. And I just think he's going to be an absolute freaking monster this year. He has legitimate Defensive Player of the Year candidate potentially down the line for his career. He can blitz. He's obviously a really good tackler. And the thing he needs to work on is coverage. But, I mean, from all indications, he's gotten better in that. He was kind of known for that in college, so I don't see why he can't figure it out in the NFL. He's got a tough couple matchups, week 1 and 2. I'm sure he's going to get matched up with Waller and Kelsey a couple times. So he's going to figure out if he's improved or not early in the season. But him and Adafe Owe chasing after Patrick Mahomes week 2, I see that happening. I like our chances. With that being said, though, these are kind of my predictions on who's going to be leading the team this year. Please leave me a comment. What do you think? What do you think the stats are going to look like this year? If you're a Ravens fan, don't forget to subscribe. Got tons of Raven content coming here shortly throughout the season. Coming up this week, I'm going to be doing my Raiders versus Ravens kind of key breakdowns, key matchups, I should say, key matchup breakdown. So keep an eye out for that, as well as the breakdowns of some film after the game. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be doing that the day after every Ravens game. So look forward to hearing from you guys throughout the season. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.